sports, politics, life. Tickets for Less presents Kevin Keatsman Has Issues. Use promo code KKHI at ticketsforless.com.
Oh, what a relief. The Republican primary is over in New Hampshire, and Nikki Haley is going to stay in the race because, my goodness, she was just fantastic in New Hampshire. Love the headline at the Babylon Bee that says Nikki Haley declares minus 12-point victory in New Hampshire, which is exactly what she does. She continually goes out and loses and claims it's a victory. It's a victory for democracy. She sounds just like a Democrat in so many ways. Donald Trump whipping Nikki Haley by 12 points in New Hampshire. They don't want to talk about the margins in any of these races. They just want to talk about the delegates, and I think it's sitting at 31-16 right now. So the Haley camp will say, hey, it's a race, and in a few weeks we're going to be in South Carolina, and that's my home state. And they say the next primary is South Carolina, and that is not true. The next one is Nevada, where Nikki Haley, there's two events there. There's a primary and a caucus. The primary has no delegates. The caucus does. She didn't pay the fee to be in the caucus. So Trump gets all the delegates in New Hampshire, in Nevada. That's what's next up before South Carolina. But they're going to continue to lie to you and tell you that the next thing up is South Carolina and try to make this a race. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of the process. It's all so stupid. This is the first time in my life I've really looked at primaries and said, this is dumb. This is a complete waste of time. Look, we have two candidates. We have Biden versus Trump. If No Labels wants to put somebody on the ballot, great. If Robert Kennedy Jr. is going to be on the ballot in a certain number of states, great. Put them all on there. Let's get to November. Let's start the campaign and let's go vote. Now, does it bother me that we're having this charade? I guess not. It doesn't really hurt anything for me that Nikki Haley is out there doing this. Trump's not going to debate her. This is ridiculous. They're trying to weaken him, which is what everybody in America that doesn't like Donald Trump tries to do to Donald Trump. No matter what your party affiliation, you're after the guy. Here's the saddest part of what we had in New Hampshire and the saddest part of our quote-unquote democracy in America. According to CNN exit polling, 71% of Nikki Haley's votes, and what'd she get, about 120,000 votes? So less than 30% of those, or 30,000 of them, says, let's give her 40,000. Heck, I don't care. Let's give her a number. She got 120,000 votes, and 35,000 of them or so were Republicans. The rest were not. This is just a joke. Joe Biden's primary in New Hampshire, he wasn't even on the ballot. They wrote him in because the party that is so concerned about democracy going forward, because of Donald Trump, we have to protect democracy, and these networks were running around finding people all over New Hampshire saying, I voted against Donald Trump because I want to protect democracy. I voted against Donald Trump because I don't want a dictator. I voted against Donald Trump because we have to have free and fair elections. Yeah, you're voting for the party that basically said, we're not putting our guy on the ballot in New Hampshire because we won't recognize this primary for any delegates tonight. That's democracy. They're rigging their election for Biden. So this was completely, the story that's being missed here, it was completely and utterly designed to keep anybody from running against Joe Biden. Because if somebody legitimate got on the Democrat ballot and it was a legitimate primary in New Hampshire, they could have beaten Joe Biden last night. And then all hell breaks loose in that party. They said, nope, we don't recognize New Hampshire. Our first primary for Joe Biden is going to be South Carolina, where it's rigged. And we know it's rigged. He got slaughtered in Iowa. He got slaughtered in New Hampshire last time. He got slaughtered in Nevada. And then they go to South Carolina and they save his candidacy. And he winds up becoming president. That is not democracy. That's not free and fair elections. The primaries are stupid. These are stupid. If we really want to do this, and I don't like ranked choice voting. I don't like any of that stuff. But if we really want to do this, we can do it by party or not by party. Let's have a primary election day. Let's have it in March. Let's let the weather get better. Let's go third week of March or something like that on a Tuesday, in-person voting, all 50 states, same day. Let's tabulate them up, and let's come up with a couple of candidates that are going to run for president. You can do them without party affiliation. Well, you have to declare which party you're running in. But you can have them all on one ballot. Go vote for one person or rank them 1, 2, 3. I don't care how we do it. Go do it nationwide all in one day, and let's find out what America thinks. Then let's take 6 months and let them run against each other and let America decide who they want. Or something similar. We can break it down by state. We can break it down by state and party if we want. But let's get rid of this archaic system. This is stupidity the way we're doing this thing. If we have to do it state by state, let's break it down over 3 consecutive Tuesdays or something. I don't know. Or do it all in one day. Why can't the Republican Party have one primary day? And if you want to push it back to April, push it back to April. Why can't we have one primary day in 50 states? And what's up for grabs is the Electoral College number. Fine, let's go do that. There's flaws to the system. It would have to be tweaked. That would give too much power to the state of California or New York, which is obviously going to go to the Democrat candidate. And then God only knows what those states would allow to happen, like New Hampshire, to let anybody walk in, that any Democrat. Look, let's be honest. These 71% Haley voters that were not Republicans, those are Democrats. Don't tell me they're independents that don't like Trump. Those were Democrats. These were people coming out to stop Donald Trump. Those are Joe Biden votes in New Hampshire that she got. That's it. She's not getting those votes next. If she's on the ballot in November in New Hampshire, those people are voting for Biden. Those were protest votes against Trump. This is stupid. This is all just insane. It's goofy. It's rigged. Haley claims that she had a victory, that there's a mandate to move on. This is theater. It's insane. Let me show you how ridiculous all this is. There was a major leaked tape that came out on Tuesday. This is Kari Lake, who's likely to be running for senator in Arizona. You remember her for running for governor in Arizona and losing by a wide margin and irregularities in Maricopa County, and you know all about Maricopa County. This is her with the Arizona Republican Party chairman. His name is Jeff DeWitt. Jeff DeWitt? I wrote this down somewhere. Jeff DeWitt. He's the party chair of the Republican Party in Arizona. And he has a meeting with Kari Lake, and they record what he has to say. And he's trying really hard. I'm not playing all of this for you. I'm going to play about a minute and a half of it. He's trying really hard. If you haven't heard this, this is amazing, to not get himself in legal trouble. But he's talked to never Trumpers, big money on the East Coast that want Kari Lake out of the race in Arizona. They do not want her to run. And they're essentially willing to pay her millions of dollars to not run. And that's what this discussion is about. Now, I'm going to tie this full circle with Nikki Haley as soon as you listen to this clip. But if you're listening to this, and this is a tap dance, and some of it's a little bit hard to understand because it is secret and leaked audio, he's clearly offering her, says big money people on the East Coast will offer you a job anywhere you want for any money you want to not run and wait 2 years. This is to knock Trump out and make sure Trump doesn't win Arizona. This really isn't about Kari Lake. This is about Donald Trump not winning Arizona, and the big money people are now trying to bribe Kari Lake to not run for Senate. This is amazing how disgusting and gross the Republican Party is and American politics. Listen to this.
So the ask I got today from back east was, is there any companies out there or something that could just put her on the payroll and give her, to keep her out? And I said, well, what do you want them to do? Like, whatever we need to do.
This is about defeating Trump. And I think that's a bad, bad thing for our country. DeSantis is not America First. This is about the final death blow to Trump. And I don't think that's good for our country.
And you know I love Trump. I love Trump.
It's not good for our country, Jeff.
It's not, but at the same time, I'm not even sure Trump can win again. I don't know that he can win again. I think what it really comes down to for a lot of people, it's not really about like control or agenda. It's just about the ability to raise money to win. You know, if you really want to know, all of politics boils down to money. I think. And even on their end, like what makes them the most money?
I know all these consultants don't want their payday to end, and I don't want to make a deal with these kind of people. This is a hill worth dying on. I'm not. If they're going to steal the election to make me and our movement go away, I'm not letting them do that. I owe it to the people of Arizona,
or
to carry their torch and their voice.
Or you don't go away, but you pause.
This is the battles right now, Jeff.
refill your coffers.
No, the battle is right now. The battle is right now, and we don't have time to pause on this battlefield.
You're not. You can't scratch their back. It's not afraid of you.
Yeah.
You don't have anything to offer them. And they're sitting around people that have something to offer them. You know what I mean? It's just, it's a back scratching club. That's all DC is. It's a big back scratching club. You're in no position to scratch anybody's back, and you've already made it known that if you get there, you're not going to scratch anybody's back. I don't scratch people's back. You know, I've been on the outs with a lot of people for a long time because I don't scratch backs. You know, where are we in 2 years if they steal the election again?
Listen to what you're saying. Why don't we do something about it? So that we, the people, can pick our...
What can we do?
I'm not willing to accept that. Then I'm going to be the biggest pain in these people's... Go back and tell them that. I'm running, and I'm going to be the biggest pain in their...
And I'm willing to tell them that.
And they're going to have to kill me to stop me.
Okay, so that might have been Kari Lake's finest moment. There's going to be people in Arizona hear that and go, wow, she's legit. She can't be bought. There is something powerful about a politician that you believe cannot be bought. That is a powerful, powerful thing with voters. Nobody thinks that about Biden. We know he's bought and sold. But Kari Lake, and she's got money, but she's not uber wealthy. She's been a news broadcaster our entire life in Arizona on the local news. She's not some big network job making $20 million a year like George Stephanopoulos. And she's saying, no thanks. I'm not in this for the money. This is our time and place. It's time to save America. It's time for the people of Arizona to get their borders closed. They need me in D.C. to make this happen. She's right. And she's telling the chairman, clearly the chairman of the Republican Party, is trying to talk her into not running. This is our party, folks. In primary season, the big money in D.C. on the East Coast, the never-Trumpers, are throwing everything they have to do anything they can to keep Trump from being president. I don't get it. This is personal vendettas. He's good for the party. He's good for the country. You can't call yourself a Republican and not think Donald Trump was a good president. You may hate the guy. Set it aside. Our party is such a mess. We are an absolute mess. These people got to fall in line and get behind Trump, whether you personally like him or not. For a second of all, I don't even understand why people don't personally like him. He seems to understand regular people. I'm guessing it's because he doesn't play the regular billionaire game, that he's not at all the cocktail parties. He's not glad handing. He's not, I'll pat my back, you pat, he's not doing all that. That's my guess, is he doesn't play that game. And so these people really don't like him. But here's the question you have to ask. In light of the Kari Lake tape and what they're offering for her to not run, just stay off the ballot because we're afraid you will help Trump too much in Arizona. That's all it's about. They really don't care if Kari Lake becomes senator. They do not want her running because they're afraid it will boost the vote for Trump and that she and her people will watch the ballot machines in Maricopa County and try to take care of this thing. Oh, but the party chair doesn't care. The party chair is more than willing to go to Kari Lake and try to get her out. What do they do next? Oh, Kari Lake's running. Let's go bribe some election officials. Let's offer them jobs after the election. Oh, yeah, look at all these corporations in Arizona. You don't even have to move. We'll get you $1 million job. You're the Maricopa voting chair. We'll get you $1 million job over here at Honeywell or one of these tech companies that's in Phoenix now. We'll get that done for you. You don't think that these people will try to bribe and buy election officials to keep Trump from winning Arizona? But they'll try to do it with Kari Lake, who literally all she has to do is go public now and say, this makes me sick. What are they doing with election officials here? And if this is what literally is going on in this party, and it's money coming from Democrats, we know it's coming from Soros and other places, how much are they paying Nikki Haley? What is Nikki Haley getting paid to stay in this, to be a floating turd and wreck her entire political career? Her political career is over, folks. Nikki Haley is done. Her political career is over. She'll never get elected in South Carolina again. She's not winning anything anywhere unless she moves states and runs as a Democrat. She got no chance. She's done. So what have they offered her? If they're offering Kari Lake, what are they? The obvious thing for Kari Lake is, would you like to be an analyst for NBC News or ABC News? We'll pay you $6 million a year, the next 2 years, $12 million to wait and run down the road. What do you think Chris Christie did? He's been getting paid by ABC, and they said, don't run yet, don't run yet. Run against Trump. So he made millions of dollars from ABC News. Then he ran against Trump. Then he's first one out, and now he's going to get paid again because the Democrats and the media people love him because he's been all over Trump. What are they paying Nikki Haley to run? Folks, I'm disgusted by all this. I cannot believe how few people can honestly have this conversation. You watch all the coverage on television. Hell, you even look at the social media stuff and people aren't tying this together. Everybody's in shock by the thing. Oh, listen to this audio of Kari Lake getting bribed by Jeff DeWitt, the party chair. Listen to this. Oh, look at this thing going on over here. They never tie it together. A buddy of mine, when we were texting last night, he goes, well, if they're offering that to her, what are they offering the Maricopa officials? Well, good for him. He put it together. I said, thanks, I'm stealing that. Yes, if they're offering it to Kari Lake, they're offering it to election officials to rig the election. Yes, they're doing it in Pennsylvania. Yes, they're doing it everywhere that you suspect. Of course they are. And all I want is for somebody to ask Nikki Haley, what is it you were promised? Kari Lake has been tried to buy her off. What are they paying you? What are they promising you to stay in against Trump? Who's orchestrating this? DeSantis bailed out. Christie bailed out. Haley's the chosen one. All the money's going to her from Democrats, never Trumpers, whatever they are. It's all going to her. What is she getting? Is she promised a position on a board? She was on Boeing for a while. Is that what she wants to do? Does she want to get into the neocon stuff and make money from defense contractors? Or does she want to work in media? Because it's sitting there too. There's $5 million a year to be had for Nikki Haley very soon. Like as soon as she drops out, she could literally be a political analyst for a network by the time the election comes around in the fall and be on there bashing Donald Trump every night and getting paid for it. Man, we got problems. We got massive problems in this country with elections. I mean, huge problems that people have not connected or even thought about. We have known since the beginning of our democracy that there's cheating, there's scandals, there's scams. Joe Biden gave a speech yesterday. He's now an election denier. They want to lock Donald Trump up for being an election denier, and this freaking idiot old man is doing the same thing they did when Al Gore lost, the same thing they did when Hillary Clinton lost. They're the original election deniers. They want to lock Trump up for being an election denier, and he goes out and talks about the real governor of Virginia like Glenn Youngkin wasn't duly voted in by the people, that his election was illegitimate. Now the White House is trying to back off on this and say, oh, that's not what he was saying. He was talking about the former governor, and the former governor was a real governor, and this one isn't. Like, no, that's not what he said at all. He basically said, I mean, this is the start of an insurrection. We got to impeach Biden. He said that the governor of Virginia isn't legitimate. Well, impeach him. He can't run. Strike him off the ballot in Virginia. Joe Biden off the ballot in Virginia would be a wonderful thing. Do it. Let's go, Virginia. Knock him off. He's an insurrectionist. He's an election denier. Arrest him. Indict him. Take him to court. This stuff is pathetic. I don't know what we can do about it, man. I'm not a big government guy. I'm not big on, hey, let's just keep making laws and rules and regulations and do that. But this arena, like this seems to be the one place in America where there is nothing. There are no rules. There are no laws. And if there are, they don't apply. Everybody breaks them. He with the most money wins. It's a joke. They outwardly say it. We got to raise all this money. Money matters in these things. It shouldn't matter. It should not matter. God, it's just so disgusting and low level for our country. Really swampy and low level. And now Ronna McDaniel, this little swamp creature, Ronna McDaniel, who's the chair of the Republican Party, what does she say on Tuesday night? She comes out and says, I see no path forward for Nikki Haley. So after all this time, Ronna McDaniel and her stupid fake debates and her never Trumpism that she's got, now she's not all in on the never Trump, but she's got a little of that in her. She's a terrible Republican Party chair. She's done nothing but harm the party. She's fractured it by keeping this hope alive that we can keep Trump out of this and we'll get our little mealy-mouthed little Republicans in here that'll roll over and cave to the Democrats. She's been all on board with that. She says on Tuesday night she sees no path forward for Nikki Haley. Well, this was surprising to me. I don't know about you. So why would Ronna McDaniel say that? Follow the money. Trump's going to win. She's looking for money. She's looking to stay on as the RNC chair, at least through the election. So she's falling in line with political power. It's gross, folks. It's ugh. It's just a different year. It's Trump and Biden, and if either one of them gets knocked out somehow before the general election, then it's Trump versus somebody else or whatever. But this is all just one giant charade, and I feel bad for these people. They're so stupid. They just throw their money around. I mean, I guess it would be fun to be that rich, but what a complete waste, man. There's just got to be a better way to live if you're a billionaire than to try to be a puppet master of some election and do this. I'm disgusted by that audio tape of the Arizona Republican chair bribing Kari Lake to stay out so Trump would lose Arizona. This makes me sick. And it's the same thing going on with Haley. She's buyable. You can buy Nikki Haley, it's clear. But you can't buy Kari Lake. You got to like that. KKHI, I'm sorry, man. I'm wound up. Is sponsored by Window World, simply the best for less. Window World's the official windows of the Kansas City Chiefs, and they're great for your home as well. If you'd like a free analysis and estimate with zero pressure, they'll even show you how they can finance this with 0% financing available. Windows, siding, and doors with lifetime warranties, products made in America, installed by great conservatives at Window World. These are awesome people. You're really going to love your experience. Call 816-799-0820, anywhere within several hours of Kansas City. You don't have to be in Kansas City. Or online at windowskansascity.com. bstock.net has some awesome deals this week. Just in time for the Super Bowl, which is kind of fun. How about this? An LG 50-inch LED LCD smart TV, 4K, $199. $199. This thing's over $500 at Best Buy. An LG 50-inch, $199. This is for KKHI listeners only. You have to mention this in store. If you go to bstock.net, say, I want the KKHI special on the 50-inch TV, $199. Or if you want to buy it online and have it shipped, the promo code is football24. That's football24 during checkout at bstock.net. They have wireless sound bars for $15. 1 week only, crazy deal. LG 65-inch OLED for $989. This is $1,600 elsewhere. That's a wonderful deal. They now have Shark Ninja wood-fire outdoor grills, $219. It's a 3-in-1 grill, triples as a master grill, a barbecue smoker, and outdoor air fryer. They're brand new, sealed from the factory. They're well over $300 everywhere else. And this is really cool. The Shark Ninja ice cream maker. They're brand new. They have 7 one-touch programs. Choose between ice cream, sorbet, gelato, milkshake, smoothie bowl. They're $169 at bstock.net. Best Buy has them over $200. Ice cream makers. Come on, think about spring. That's an awesome deal at bstock.net. And, of course, my buddy Tim Cross over at Cross Kitchens KC, online at crosskitchenskc.com. You can call Tim or Brittany, his wife, and say, you know what, we've been thinking about doing this. What do you think? Whatever you're thinking about doing in your home, they'd love to just consult with you and say, okay, let's talk about it. And then you've got days, weeks, months to decide if you want. It's okay. Get their input as to what is possible and what it may cost. They'd love to do a 3D rendering for you and show you exactly what they can do. There's no obligation and there's no cost to this service. Just call and schedule the appointment. 816-898-7047. That's 898-7047 for crosskitchenskc.com. Got several emails from you about RFK Jr. We just off the cuff yesterday mentioned the poll that's out that says if he ran with Trump, that 61% of Americans would vote for Trump and RFK Jr. And I said, you could just kick him out as vice president after that. You don't have to, a couple of years in, you could make the change. I said, I'm not sure the president can do that. Maybe the president can. Most of you emailed me and said the House and Senate have to do this through a process, which would likely be impeachment or some sort of thing. And I've responded to all of you with the same thing. Well, both parties would probably want to do that. Listen, I want to state this very clearly because not everybody, many of you misunderstood what I said. If the only way to win, according to polling, internal polling, your own polling, If the only way for Trump to win the White House in November was to have RFK Jr. as his running mate, would you do it? And my answer to that is hell yes. If you factually 100% knew the only chance you had of winning and becoming president for 4 years was to bring RFK Jr. along for the ride, you do it. We've got to get the mindset of win at all costs. The Democrats have it and we don't. Now, there's a shocking video out there. This also came out on Tuesday. At the border in Arizona, where there's a couple of reporters, journalists, iPhone carriers asking people questions at the border that are just walking in. And a man says to a person rolling on a camera, if you are smart enough, you will know who I am, but you are not smart enough. But soon, you're going to know who I am. It is clearly a terrorist threat. The man looks right at the reporter and says, if you're smart enough, you'll know who I am, but you're not smart enough. But soon, you will know who I am. It didn't take long. Several hours later, multiple reports say this person is Movsum Samadov. Movsum Samadov, the chairman of the Islamic terrorist group Azerbaijani Islamic Party. He had been in jail for 12 years for crimes he had committed, I think there, not here. He had been in jail for 12 years and released last year and has now made his way across the American border. He is in our country, and God help us if the FBI or Homeland Security, our military or CIA or somebody doesn't track him down now and jail him and get him out of here. This is just stunning. They're not just coming across our border undetected. They're finding people with cameras and saying, soon you will know who I am. My God, what are we doing? What are we doing? Absolutely frightening. The 3 dead Chiefs fans in the Northland in Kansas City, Missouri are getting more and more national attention as this story just gets stranger and stranger. Did you hear the latest of what the lawyer and what the police are saying, why the man who lived in the house is not a suspect and they do not think foul play is an issue here? Well, to me, foul play is, even if it's a drug overdose, that's foul play. Somebody handed out the drugs. If they took something with fentanyl and they all passed out in the backyard and they froze to death, or they OD'd, or whatever it may be, to me, that's foul play. If somebody's handing out, like every fentanyl death that we hear about is foul play. That's coming into the country illegally. Somebody sold it or gave it to them. That's foul play. That doesn't mean murder. I don't know what the charge is if you're handing out drugs that kill people. Seems like that ought to be murder, or at least manslaughter or something. This is crazy. This was the Chargers game. This was a regular season game, and the police are nowhere on this. And have you heard the defense of this man? The defense of the man who rents the home, apparently. The defense of the man is that he was passed out asleep on his couch for 2 days. That they had a Chiefs party on Sunday, and he was still sleeping on Tuesday. What the hell happened at that party? You can say that's not foul play. If you've got a resident passed out until Tuesday after a Chiefs game and 3 dead dudes in the backyard, that's foul play. By definition, that's foul play. These are not random illnesses. This isn't, oh, well, he's been ill, he caught the flu, he's been on the couch 2 days, and oh, these 3 guys all had heart attacks at the same time and keeled over dead. No, something foul happened there. And maybe the police are just saying this to try to make the resident feel comfortable. I don't know. This story won't go away, man. This is a wild one. We've seen a lot of crazy stories that are a convergence of news and sports in Kansas City throughout the years. This is the strangest one I've ever seen. 3 dead dudes in the backyard from a watch party of a meaningless game where the backup quarterback was playing. They threw a rager, and 3 dudes wound up dead in the yard, and the person who lives there was passed out for 2 days. What? Wow, is that some story? On to sports, brought to you by Roberts Robinson Chevrolet GMC, home of the lifetime warranty. They got all kinds of great trucks and SUVs in stock right now at Roberts Robinson. You can check them out at robertsrobinson.com or call my friend Tim Trader. He's on that showroom floor every day. He'd love to work with you. He'd love to just chat with you on the phone. What is it you're looking for? If we don't have it, I'll get it here. And if I can't get it here in a couple of days, I'll build it for you. And by the way, that was my last experience with my Chevy Blazer. I don't think I'll ever do it any other way. I think now when I'm thinking about getting a new car, I'm just going to go to Roberts Robinson and say, let's build it exactly like I like it. They give me every discount, every rebate, everything baked into the initial price. I wait 6 weeks for my car to be built. When it's there, it's fun. I've got it. I don't need the car today. This is a great way to do it. Get exactly what you want. RobertsRobinson.com. MyPillow is online at MyPillow.com. Did you know Fox News has dropped him as an advertiser? I think they're saying that he couldn't pay his bills or something. It's gotten bad at MyPillow. This guy's a great conservative warrior, but it's gotten bad. They need a cash influx in the worst way. If you have considered purchasing anything from MyPillow.com, slippers, robes, towels, sheets, or the original MyPillow, it's a great product. I've slept on MyPillows for over 10 years now. Now's the time. They could use your help at MyPillow.com. Your promo code is KKHI. That saves you the most money. MyPillow.com/KKHI or call 800-923-9034 for MyPillow.com. And Dr. Jeremy Fry at Fry Orthodontics. Teeth love us. You will too at Fry Orthodontics. That's true. Love their TV ads of those mascot teeth running through the field. It's so fun, and they really want to make the experience fun because nobody thinks of this as a good experience, but it can be a much better experience depending on where you go. We know there's choices all over Kansas City to pick for braces or Invisalign. There's all kinds of choices. There's only one Fry Orthodontics where their commitment to you is eliminate excessive treatment, make it more fun to go do, not necessarily like a day at the beach fun, but better than, oh boy, I got to go to the orthodontist today. No, it's going to be light. It's going to be airy. It's going to be fun. The staff are so professional and engaging. They're really wonderful people. They try hard to make your experience the best it can possibly be. FryOrthodontics.com. 14 locations in our area. Choose one near you. The first consultation is absolutely free. Get that smile you've always wanted at Fry Orthodontics. Chiefs and Bills averaged 51 million viewers. The final tallies are in. We predicted it would be over 40 million and be the number one game. It is. That's 20 million more viewers than the ESPN ABC game, which was what? The first one up? Was that the first one up on Saturday? Was that the Ravens game? Ravens-Texans? Chiefs had averaged 20 million more viewers than the Ravens-Texans. America loves a Chiefs-Bills game. It was also in the right time slot on the right network. At the end of the game, with the Bills driving, a chance to beat the Chiefs, nearly 60 million people were watching at its peak. In today's day and age, that's impossible. That's crazy. I believe it, and I think it might be more than that. I don't know how they count all the people in airports, on airplanes, in sports bars, in restaurants, traveling, watching on their phones, their mobile device. What's easy to track now is the ratings for NFL games are going up now that people can watch on their phone. They're able to calculate these numbers. They see that, and boom. I can watch the Chiefs game on Channel 5 really basically from anywhere on my phone, if it's on CBS or whatever. I also have the package and can get it that way. There's a million ways to tabulate all this, and these are just insane numbers. Absolutely insane. Top 3 Super Bowl odds favored to win the Super Bowl this year. Here are your top 3 odds. Baltimore, San Francisco, Kansas City. All right, that makes sense. Detroit is 4th. What do we know about Baltimore, Kansas City, and San Francisco? What do they have in common? Oh, they're the only 3 teams in the NFL this year, the only 3 teams in the NFL that gave up fewer than 300 points. Their defenses allowed fewer than 300 points. Baltimore, 280. Kansas City, 294. San Francisco, 298. There it is. There it is. All this season, talk about how Mahomes and the offense aren't what they used to be. We know scoring was down in the NFL this year. We saw all kinds of evidence that defenses are catching up with the modern offenses. We've seen this. And what do we have left? Top 3 teams favored are the only 3 that gave up fewer than 300 points. So the Chiefs are great at this. Everybody's talking this week about the Ravens defense. That's what we're talking about. The Chiefs, over 17 games, gave up 14 more points than the Ravens. Do you think that's statistically significant? Because I don't. Because the Chiefs played a ridiculously hard schedule. Insanely difficult. I just don't. I can't sit here and tell you that the Ravens defense is better than the Chiefs. I don't believe that. I don't. Are they better at takeaways or scoring off turnovers? Probably. Chiefs are not great at takeaways. They're good, but they're not great. But now they're facing a quarterback who throughout his career has had interception problems. And if this defense, which was number 2 in the NFL, this is the number 1 and number 2 defenses in the NFL on Sunday, the Chiefs and Ravens. So let's just call defenses a push. What's going to be the difference in the game? Clearly the quarterbacks. Now, if you think Lamar Jackson is as good as the media thinks he is, great. Jump on the Ravens, bet them to beat the Chiefs. This game's all over. I don't think he is. I think the Chiefs defense can contain him a little bit. Look, I think he's going to get his 40 or 50 yards. You can't let him have 60, 70, 80 yards. He's going to get it rushing. That's where I'm afraid of Lamar Jackson. Make him stand back there and throw up those jump balls he likes to throw up. Chiefs are going to be all over that. I can't wait to watch him pass the ball against the Chiefs. I love this. Nobody in Kansas City even... We're so Mahomes and Andy-centric, we can't recognize when we have the second best defense in the NFL. What a shame. What an absolute shame. Holding Josh Allen to 7 points in Buffalo in a divisional round game is just spectacular. We talked about the Chiefs' second half defense. The last 7 games, the most they've given up is the 7 points they gave up to Buffalo. Repeat that if you didn't hear yesterday's podcast. The worst second half performance in the last 2 months by the Chiefs was last Sunday. They gave up 7 to Buffalo, which led to this email from Ryan. Thank you, Ryan. To further on what you're saying about the Chiefs' second half defense, how about this? This dude has made some money this year. There's in-game betting, and they do what are called totals. How many points do you think we scored in the second half? Like 24 and a half? You want the over of that number or the under of that number? They also break it down by quarter. Okay? This is insane. Ryan has been betting the under on fourth quarters of Chiefs games all year. All year. Now, why would you do that when Patrick Mahomes is playing in the game? We think of fourth quarters as high-flying and wild because Patrick Mahomes is out there. Well, it didn't really happen in Buffalo, did it? And think back on the season, it didn't happen much. The Chiefs have leaned on their defense and not turned it over in the fourth quarter to win games. Ryan says he's been betting the under in the fourth quarter of Chiefs games this year, and Kansas City is an incredible 18-1 to the under in the fourth quarter. 8 times this year, they have shut their opponent out in the fourth quarter. What? Ryan, you are like listener of the year. Good luck, all the rest of the emailers this year, for sending me something this relevant before a game happens on Sunday. The Chiefs have shut out their opponent in the fourth quarter almost half the games. 40-some% of the games. They've shut their opponent out in the fourth quarter, and they're 18-1 to the under in those games. That's the most ridiculous stat you're going to hear this week. Thank you, Ryan. I greatly, greatly appreciate that. More NFL news. The Chargers and Jim Harbaugh are apparently close to working out a deal for the Michigan coach to be the former Michigan coach and coach the Chargers. I get it. People like Justin Herbert. This division's going to be hard. You know, you got a Super Bowl winning coach in Denver. Antonio Pierce has been given the full-time job in Vegas. We're not too worried about the Raiders, but these teams can clearly beat the Chiefs. Denver did it. The Raiders have done it. It's going to be a tougher division going forward. There's no question. Jim Harbaugh is an outstanding coach. He won in the NFL. He's won in college. He's won everywhere he's been. The Chargers will be a good football team with Jim Harbaugh, if that happens. That hasn't happened yet. In Buffalo, we mentioned this on the Patron podcast yesterday. Tyler Bass, the field goal kicker, is living his worst life this week. But he's a cat. He's a cat guy. I don't know. If you're a football player, you want to publicly come out as a cats guy? Should maybe be a dog lover. I don't know. I guess. There's a stigma to being a cat person. I don't know why. Jerry Green, our founder at Union Broadcasting, was a cat person, and I loved him. There was nothing I could say bad about Jerry Green, but he had cat hair on him a lot. That's all. He'd come into the office, let me get this brush out here, Jerry. Help you out here. But he had like 13 cats. Tyler Bass apparently loves cats. Bills fans and Chiefs fans have gone online in support of Tyler Bass. I guess to prop him up and say it's okay. He's got a charity called the 10 Lives charity. Not 9 lives for cats, 10 lives. And now, as of the recording of this podcast, over $250,000 is poured in from Bills and Chiefs fans supporting Tyler Bass by donating, a lot of people, just $5-10 to the 10 Lives Foundation charity in the Western New York area, Buffalo, New York. South Florida football, the Miami Dolphins star Tyreek Hill has announced he's getting divorced. He was married 76 days. He's had 3 babies since he's been married with 4 different, four babies with three babies with 3 different women since he got married. That means there's got to be more coming. She's probably learning of this. Remember when I said this does not look like a very happy couple when his house was on fire? You can't make this guy up. This Tyreek Hill story is going to be the 30 for 30 documentary of all time. So he's standing there, he gets home in his driveway. They call him. He's got a brace on his foot. He's got the ankle boot on. And she's looking at him like, what the hell? You're wearing a boot? And they're standing in the driveway watching the house burn. And they're getting into a fight on live TV because the helicopters are circling and it's all on live TV in Miami. I'm like, this ain't right. And the official reports were nobody was home, but there she is in like jammies standing in the driveway. Where was she? Where was she in those clothes? She down at Denny's having breakfast with all the kids? I don't know what the heck's going on. Turns out a 6-year-old was playing with a lighter and set the house on fire, but I'm starting to think it might be possible that she did it. What do you think? And should authorities be looking into that now? Because if Tyreek Hill found out that she did it, he'd want out of that marriage pretty fast, wouldn't you think? 76 days of marital bliss for Tyreek Hill. That sounds about right. I just would have 2 things if he was my friend. I'd say, Tyreek, wear a condom, and Tyreek, don't get married again. It's not for you. Just stop. Just stop. Ooh, Missouri basketball's in a bad way. 63-57, they lose to Texas A&M on the road. They held A&M to 28% shooting in this game and lost. That is so hard to do. You hold your opponent to 28% field goals and you lose. Missouri's now 8-11 on the season, 0-6 in the SEC. It's over. I think we can just declare it over. I'm shocked. I'm as shocked as anyone that this is happening for Mizzou. I did not see that coming this year. There was so much optimism around Dennis Gates and this program. And I'll say this about Dennis Gates and his team. No matter, and I know it's going to be about recruiting now. I thought Dennis Gates was a better coach than this. I heard Bill Self say it. And I don't know why I believe Bill Self. I don't know why. Because he's got a lot of Lou Holtz in him. That's not an insult. He'll say nice things about people that he don't think are very good coaches, and he'll say marginal things about guys that he's worried about could maybe on a given night out coach him. It's kind of funny like that. So I probably shouldn't have believed him, but man, he went on and on about what a great X's and O's and scheme guy Dennis Gates is and all that. I think if you're great as a coach at this point, you're not 0-6. That at some point somewhere, you've scouted an opponent, found a weakness, designed something, and beaten them. No matter who your players are. This is a bad look for Missouri going forward. I mean, even if they're 10-9 and 2-4, we can sit here and go, okay, all right, it's a bad year. There's some, but 0-6, we're starting to run the thread of who do they beat? Who are you going to get? A&M's no tournament team. K-State's about to struggle. Here come the emails from the K-State fans. At Iowa State Wednesday night, that's a loss. At Houston Saturday, that's a loss. Then Oklahoma at Bramlage, that's about a 70% chance of loss. K-State is 4-1 and tied for first in the Big 12. I'll predict it right now. They will very quickly be 4-4. Hey, K-State fan here. I'll take one of the 3. I'll take 5-3 at the 8-game mark, right? K-State is 4-1. I'll take 5-3. I'll take a win in any one of these 3 games. Then they get Oklahoma State, which that one's on the road. They just barely beat them. Oklahoma State's no good at all, but they just barely beat them. You got to go on the road and win it. Then I think it's Kansas. Oh, my. All right, Jerome Tang. A lot of people out there grumbling that Jerome Tang is leaving Kansas State after this year. Maybe you heard that here first. Doesn't like the president of the university. A lot of rumblings that Louisville may be interested or other bigger programs. He's got to get to the tournament. If you're Louisville and you want Jerome Tang and he doesn't make the tournament, can you really hire Jerome Tang? So he's got to make the tournament. Right now, K-State's weird. They're like 28 in the polls, but 76 in that net ranking, the computer ranking. Like, they don't rank very high at all. Like, they're not a tournament team at this point, according to the computer, but they're 28th in the AP poll or something. Their record is better than they are. I believe these things even out, and I believe the even out starts in Ames on Wednesday night. K-State is tied for first on the road at Iowa State, and they're a 7.5-point underdog. And they should be a 7.5-point underdog. Our final is brought to you by Finch Knife Company online at finchknifeco.com. Keep life from getting dull. Hey, some point this spring, you're getting ready for the camping season or outdoor season, or you're getting ready to start going fishing. You know you love to take a pocket knife with you in your tackle box or wherever you go. Go check out the Finch pocket knives at Shields. It's a great store. They got a statue of Ronald Reagan right out front. Take your children or your grandchildren with them and let them read about Ronald Reagan before they go into Shields. That'd be a cool thing to do. Then go up to the sporting goods section and check out the Finch pocket knives in the display case. Or log on to finchknifeco.com and order online. Great designs right here in Kansas City. Wonderful collections. Finch pocket knives. Keep life from getting dull. Dr. Bill Bush and his team at North Kansas City Dental would love to see you for your regular 6-month checkup. You need regular dental care. You don't like going every 6 months. Neither do I. I like going now that it's Dr. Bush. It's kind of fun. We talk some sports. I'm getting to know the staff. It's a fun place. They're nice people. It's probably different than the dentist you've been going to. They take your insurance. You got dental insurance. Your 6-month checkup is free. Just go do it. Switch to North Kansas City Dental. Go to a dentist that thinks like you do, believes what you believe, and loves the teams that you love. nkcdental.com. 816-471-2911. Tell them you heard about it right here on the podcast. They love new patients from KKHI. Trust me, they do. The second you say you listen, they'll, oh, that's great. Yeah, we love Kevin. Yeah, do it. nkcdental.com. And my friends at the Bluemont Hotel in Manhattan would love to host your group this year, whether it's a business meeting, a reunion of some sorts, a guys' weekend in Manhattan for maybe I think K-State's supposed to be really good in college baseball this year. Maybe go see a baseball game this spring, play Colbert Hills, get together with your frat buddies from college. There's a million ways to enjoy the Bluemont Hotel. The easiest way is log on to BluemontHotel.com and see what they may offer you. Whether it's a wedding party, a reception, or a reunion, have some fun with your business at the Bluemont Hotel on the corner of Campus and Aggieville in Manhattan. Also, don't forget the wonderful people that do all the great things at Goolsby's Restaurant and the Indoor Entertainment Center. There are lots of fun things. If you get a rainy day or something, you got indoor entertainment there. Batting cages, simulated driving range, golf games, skee ball. There's all kinds of duck pin bowling. Cool stuff right there at BluemontHotel.com. Our final is one story with two layers. The first part is our second college team here at the house is the University of Georgia, as my daughter went there. And Uga 10 has died at age 10. Uga was the winningest English Bulldog mascot in the history of the University of Georgia. Football, as you might expect, 2 national titles. Uga 10 has died. And let me just tell you this. If there's such thing as royalty in the state of Georgia, it's not Fannie Willis. It's not Newt Gingrich. It's not even Kirby Smart. Because, they're kind of like Nebraska fans were back in the day. We'll get another coach. If there's royalty in the state of Georgia, it's Uga. The dog is beloved. Even Georgia Tech fans and grads love Uga. Everybody loves Uga. This is like a day of mourning in that state. It's the saddest thing ever when Uga dies. The winningest mascot in Georgia history is dead. Uga 10 is dead. That's number one. Number 2 is the idiots, the asshats at PETA are piling on to Uga's death, calling for an end at the University of Georgia to live mascots in southern heat, as English bulldogs are renowned for having flat noses where it's difficult for them to breathe. They believe it is cruel to this animal to allow the animal to be outside. Is that what I'm hearing? What? You can't have a live mascot because the mascot is outside living in a penthouse. Like, this dog has its own suite area at the game, out of the kennel, out of the crate. You cannot even imagine the diet, the exercise, the love, the warmth, the life of this dog. You cannot have a better life than Uga. You cannot. And PETA wants it to end because this is a flat-faced dog that the breed has difficult breathing and shouldn't be outside in the southern heat. Oh, my God. These people. Could you imagine if we could just convince the 10% of people on the far left that have lost their freaking minds, the 30-some million of them, let's just say it's 10%. If we could just get them to live in New Zealand like they all promised, can you imagine how great America would be? I mean, literally the only thing stopping America from being its absolute best self is these 20, 30 million crazoids. People like PETA that don't want you to drink milk. They want the Indy 500 to stop drinking milk at the end because it's cruel to cows, I guess. And they don't want Uga to be a mascot at the University of Georgia. Have a nice day, PETA. That's it for us this time at KKHI.
Kevin Keatsman Has Issues has been presented by Roberts Robinson Chevrolet GMC and is produced by Crooked Tail Media. Please hit the like or follow button wherever you listen or give us a review. For premium content podcasts and weekly newsletter, join as a patron at kkhasissues.com for as little as $5 a month. Support all our sponsors and other conservative businesses at thekklist.com.
This has been a production of Crooked Tail Media, Incorporated.